for our growth. अब जैसे for example in our society, like information was not shared equally by all the components. Traditionally, I'm talking about traditional society, and information was not shared throughout the society. That is why some people grew and some people didn't grow. Now things have changed a lot, and we have moved to a place system where things have become transparent, and with the help of technology, this technology has affected sharing information. But if you don't share information, you will not know what is happening around you. For example, take a very small child. The child does not
मैम आपका जो
sees a sparkling object.
मैम आपका जो नेटवर्क है लगता है थोड़ा वीक है, बीच में आवाज जो है कट रही है। कोई और नेटवर्क है क्या?
नहीं नहीं, यही है।
यही है। तो आप एक काम कर सकते हैं कि वीडियो को स्विच ऑफ कर दें एंड देन यू कैन स्पीक, मे बी थोड़ा वॉइस क्लैरिटी आ जाए उससे। हाँ
अच्छा ठीक है।
हाँ, अभी अभी थोड़ा क्लियर हो रहा है।
ओके, तो फॉर एग्जाम्पल इफ यू a small child, he or she does not know what things are, how things are moving around them. They don't have any idea. Suppose they see a sparkling object, so they'll be attracted towards it, isn't it? But so it will try to catch it. Maybe the sparkling object is flame, but the child does not know. It will burn its fingertips if it tries to catch it. But it doesn't, because it is being attracted by it. So it catches it. Now that information will go to his brain immediately, because once it hurts it, it will go to its brain, and that information will be stored over there. So in future also, suppose it sees another sparkling object that may not be flame, but it will think twice before getting it. So information gives you the power to take decisions, and that is what the managers are doing all the time. You are taking decision, whether you are doing marketing or you are doing finance or you're doing operations, whatever, wherever you are, whether you are at the highest level or the middle level, the lower level, or at a subordinate position, but some type of decisions you are always taking, and for that you need information. So that is why it is very essential to know what is management information system. So let us share, I'll share the presentation with you. Can you see the screen? Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay. So management information system. What do you understand by it? The purpose of an information system is to collect, store, and disseminate information from an organization.
मैम ये दूसरी स्लाइड जो आपने दूसरी स्लाइड आप एक बार सेलेक्ट कर लें, पहली स्लाइड है अभी ये।
अच्छा अच्छा अच्छा, एक मिनट।
नाउ इट्स ओके, नाउ इट्स ओके, ठीक है, ऐसे ही रहने दें, ऐसे ही रहने दें, फुल पे ना करें। हाँ।
So see, for example, suppose you need a lift for your building, elevator, what you call to these days, elevator for your building. Now you will have to gather data. Data is raw information, and this data about who will be the population which will be using the elevator. So what will you get? Some figures about the weight of the people. Say you take a sample of people who will be using the elevator. So that will be the raw data. Then you see what is the average. So you do some processing on the data to find out the average and see whether the carrying capacity of the lift matches that average or not, whether it is able to carry that much amount of people on the lift. So then you take decision whether to use that lift or not to use it. So it is all the time you are taking information. Information comes in the raw form as data. Then you process that data, and based on data, you take in some decision. For example, as students, after completing your schooling, you want to do some course. Now you have to have information about the types of courses available in the market, where it is available, what is the fee structure, what is your personal abilities, whether it is matching that or not, what is the requirement, what type of people they want, and then only you can take decision where to go, what to do, how to continue your life, in which direction you want. So anywhere you are, you you are either managing yourself, you're managing your house, or you're working in the corporate sector, you're managing an office. So you are managing something other. And for that, we need information. So information is it is something like the nervous system of our body. See, in the nervous system is working because we get information, we touch something through our five sensory organs, we get information about various objects, the color, the touch, everything, and then that information is sent to our brain. It is not that it takes so much of time, like it has immediately it takes the information to the brain, and what you have to do, you decide, and then you do it. Suppose if you one part of your body becomes paralyzed, suppose your hand becomes paralyzed, then what happens? You are not getting any information about the things you are touching. So you can compare information system as the nervous system of any organization, whether it is a human being or plant. They also respond to some external stimuli. So here we collect data, then we process that data, and then we disseminate that information. And this information has to be both external as well as internal. For example, say in 90s, when early 90s, when Tata Motors, which was previously known as Telco, when Tata Motors thought of producing passenger cars. Before that, they were producing only commercial vehicles and some SUVs. But then they thought of also, so they looked at the external environment, whether there is a demand for passenger car or not, whether there is a market for a passenger car or not, and their own internal, whether they have the capacity to produce it. They have the technical know-how, the material availability, all those things, whatever is required to produce that car. So then they match these two things, and when they thought if this is possible, they went ahead and produced Indica. So it is the matching of both the external as well as the internal environment where you take the decision. So over there, the organizational function was what? Of producing a car. So they had to take decision accordingly and communicating it uh, to the general public through advertisement, through marketing, coordinating all the people involved in that operation, controlling and analyzing and visualizing their work. And then only they were able to successfully produce that particular object. Whether you are producing a car or you are producing anything else, or you are doing a service, for example, whether you are working in a hospital also, you have to know what is the requirement of the patient, what type of diseases are coming is very much people are suffering from in a particular locality. So where do you want to focus? All these things you have to, the external and also the internal. What do you need? You need doctors, you need nurses, you need paramedical staffs, you need the medical equipments. Then the whole operation of treating a sick person, and when you turn and making a cured person leave the hospital. So here everything is what? You are giving some input, some processing is done, and then the output is there. So this is what is, the information is helping you in achieving your goal. Your goal might be different. It might be to produce some object, or it might be to do some service. In each case, whether you are in service organization or whether you are in manufacturing or organization, you need information about everything which is involved in producing that particular, whatever raw material you have to produce it in such a way that you get the desired result, and for that you need information. So um, uh, anyone is ready to read it? Hello, hello, can you see the
Yes,
what is
Yes,
your
ma'am.
name?
Debanjana.
Pardon?
Debanjana.
Okay, then you read it from the second point. Information system transforms raw data in useful information through. Tell
Ma'am, your
me.
slide.
मैम स्लाइड एक बार दिखा दें, आपको स्क्रीन चला गया है,
अच्छा,
शेयर स्क्रीन पे फिर से ले।
हाँ हाँ, अब देख सक रहे हैं?
जी जी।
ओके, शुरू से करो. द पर्पस ऑफ एन इंफॉर्मेशन सिस्टम इज,
The purpose of an information system is to collect, store, and disseminate information from an organization's external.
Debanjana, reading is also an art. You should not read for yourself. You should communicate to the other students as well, right?
Right.
This
Should I
is
go slow?
this you should go slow, because deliberately ma'am do it this exercise so that you can be a good manager, right? Suppose you are a manager in a meeting and you have to disseminate this information.
देखो
So
आज
how you will inform, right, to the team? Go ahead.
गो थोड़ा सा स्लोली, थोड़ा.
The purpose of an information system is to collect, store, and disseminate information from an organization's external environment and internal operations to support organizational functions and decision making, communication, coordination, control and analysis, and visualization. Information system transforms raw data into useful information through three basic activities: input, processing, and output. From a business perspective, an information system represents an organizational and management solution based on information technology to challenges posed by the environment. The information system is a part of series of value-adding activities.
Voice.
The information system is a part of series of value-adding activities for acquiring, transforming, and distributing information that managers can use to improve decision-making, enhancing organization performance, and ultimately increase firm profitability. Hence, we can say Management Information System, or MIS, is a combination of principles, theories, and practices of management, which play an important role in business, organization, and the planning and decision-making process. It provides information for the personnel at various levels of management for performing their respective jobs.
So next, what are the main purpose of an information system? The next person.
Guys, please volunteer. खुद से बार-बार मौका.
So I'm not able to
catch
see your
कर.
face.
No problem. तो खुद से आप volunteer करो. And this is a great opportunity. Don't sit back. Now you are a manager.
So it
Okay,
is the
so may
next.
I?
Why not?
Ah,
Why not, Anchika?
go ahead.
Read it.
Okay, so the first purpose is the main purpose of MIS is to provide manager with the necessary information to make decision. MIS is responsible for gathering data from several sources such as internal and external source. In addition, it converts the data into useful information. This information is then utilized to monitor business operations, identify trends, and predict future outcomes. Second point, the key function of MIS may include data collection, where we can gather data from multiple sources, including internal and external sources. Internal sources, for example, accounting, finance, and human resources. On the other hand, external sources including market, research, report, and customer feedback. In addition, we can collect data using various techniques including online survey, face-to-face interview, and focused group. Third point is it allows data pre-processing. Once data is collected, it is processed using various tools and techniques. The processing steps include sorting, classifying, and analyze data to produce meaningful information. Fourth point is after that, this information is stored in database for future use.
So you is it this? I think it is very clear. So whatever you are getting data both from external as well as internal sources.
Yes,
For
ma'am.
example, how well your cash flow is flowing, whether you have enough money to run the business, from where you are getting the profit. Because if you don't earn profit, you won't will not be able to infuse money into your business. And because this is not a one time job, it has to is a cyclic process which has to be keep on moving. You don't want कि एक बार कर दिया बस हो गया, इससे तो नहीं होगा ना. So whatever you are producing, you have to earn profit on it, not only for your use but also for running the business. So you have to know how your accounting department is working, what how is the financial affairs of your organization, who are the people who are working in the organization, whether they have the specified skills and knowledge about running the organization. Because see, even handling MIS is not an easy job. You have to have proper training. Like for example, today the technology has become very user friendly, but still you have to have an exposure and you will have to know. For example, uh, like when IIT Kanpur Central Library, which was initially done, everything was done manually, but then it was way back in early 90s, they started converting into a digital library. The processing were being done by computers. So the staff over there, they were trained. So they at that time, they, because now your generation has taken everything for granted, because technology was there when you were born. You have been brought up with it. But for our generation, when we were studying, we did not know anything about computers. There, whether you take library or you take bank, even in banking industry, they were not using computers. So during the early yearly or half yearly closing, they used to devote lot of time doing the processing. Once the new process of computerization, this idea came, and it was there was a lot of comprehensive, there were a lot of doubt about the new things. They thought this way they lose their job. So they were particularly trained into the technicality of the information system, plus all the benefits of the information system was uh, told to them. And naturally, now what you are seeing today is much a very changed environment. We have seen the transition from the manual system to the digital system. So for this, you need not only know the system, you have to be very well versed with how to handle the system. What are the benefits? See, it is no doubt that every benefit, there will be some difficulties also. So you should be aware what type of difficulties you will be facing, how to overcome those difficulties. But the overall, it should be more useful. So this has to be drilled upon the generation which were being taught to convert from the manual system to the digital system. Now, and then this data is stored somewhere safely. Security is very essential because it should not reach into the hands of people who will be misusing it. Because today, because of the internet, so much information is flowing, so much financial information is flowing. So you don't want that information. So the security system has to be built in so that it reaches the place where it has to go, and people will use it the way it is supposed to be used, not misuse the information. Today, for example, when you look at the market, wherever, even if you buy something online or offline, they catch all the data about the customer, their preference, their age group, the type of things they are buying, and then they use this information for attracting other customers. So all the time, data is very important. If you don't have the data, it cannot be processed and you will not get information, and then you will not be able to take decision regarding it. What is the demand of the present generation? What colors they are is in demand? What type of cut is in demand? So all these things are data which has to be processed, and then the marketeer, the producer, everyone will be using it to satisfy the customers, because the ultimate goal is to see it is from what? From raw material, it goes to manufacturing, from manufacturing, it goes to warehouse, from warehouse, it goes to retailers, and from retailers back to the customer. So, what is the requirement and the need of the customer? Sometimes the manufacturers, through advertisement, they create need. For example, you take the types of breakfast material now present in the market, which was not there previously. But that need was created, and now people are finding it much more useful and very beneficial because the lifestyle has changed. So you have to see, because for this, see, you need both the external as well as the internal environment. The information about what the people require, how can they be motivated through advertisement. What you are trying to do, you are trying to motivate people in buying your things. You are highlighting your the unique features of your product or service, and you want them to. And this is a very competitive world, so now you are much more in a neck to neck. So you have to, through information only, you can tell the people what is there in your product, what is so different about your product, why it is beneficial to you, all these things. So information, even the customer, as a manager, you are taking decision, okay, but the customer will also take decision only when he or she has the information about the product, the features of the product, the price of the product, the quality of the product. So everywhere, both the ways, it is both for the people who are producing it and also for the people who are buying it. So it has to be a win-win situation for both these players, because that is why today the focus is in best quality at the least cost. And for that, you have to see how you can reduce the price, but not the quality of the product. So for this also, you have to know, should have the information about the different types of technology available to you, from where to get the best raw material, because it is the initial raw material. As it is always said in a layman language, also say, whatever you sow, you reap accordingly. So you have to see whatever you're sowing, that is your raw material. So your raw material has to be chosen in the way that it gives you the outcome which you are looking for, what the customers are looking for, at the price they are looking for, what is their buying capacity. If suppose if you make very something which is very good, but it is very expensive, and you are not able to cater to the market, so all your effort is gone waste. So you have to see, maybe you can categorize, make something for each category of the market. So for this, you have to have information. Without information, you cannot take any decision. Next person, I'm changing the slide.
Okay, so these are the components. To enable decision making, the management information system consists of four primary components that equip managers with essential information. These components are hardware, software, data, and people. Hardware refers to the physical components of the MIS, such as computers, servers, and other devices that store and process data. Software Software includes the programs used to process and analyze data. This includes various applications like databases, spreadsheets, and business intelligence tools. Third one is data. Data are the fundamental resources for the MIS. It is collected from various sources and processed using advanced techniques to generate significant insights. People. People are a crucial component of MIS. They are responsible for collecting, processing, and analyzing data. People who work in MIS have different abilities, such as looking at data, organizing databases, and keeping information safe.
So you can see ki components, these are the four basic components of MIS. Hardware, the computers and the other peripheral devices, some input devices is required, some output devices required, some servers are required. All these things are there, the tangible part of MIS, hardware. Then you have the software, which runs these hardware. So you can have database, like you have access, you have Excel, you have spreadsheets. You can use these to analyze the data. For example, in spreadsheets, you can see what if type of analysis. Suppose, because in Excel, what happens? They don't store the data, they store the equation. So suppose I make an equation that to produce something, maybe a table, chair, or whatever it is, you require, suppose it is a table. Like I want to maintain the quality, but I want to reduce the cost. So suppose if I just change the thickness of the tabletop by say 0.001%, it will it will not affect the quality, but it will, suppose that it will also depend on the number of things you are producing, because it will be what, you will be minusing 0.001 into n, where n is a very high number. So the total savings which you make will be considerable without cutting the quality of the table. So this way you can do what if type of analysis. Suppose I make a saving of 0.001. So what will be the cost? Suppose I make a 0.01, then what will be the cost? And then I can accordingly I can take decision. And other business tools are also there, which helps you. There are statistical tools which helps you in uh, making a regression analysis. Regression means the relationship between two variables. One is your independent variable and another is your dependent variable. Independent variables means ki, suppose number of people visiting your store. So that is independent. You don't have any control over them. But how it affects your sales volume or profit volume. So your profit is dependent upon, that is dependent variable. That is dependent upon the number of people who will be visiting your store. Actually, maybe number of people are visiting your store, but they're not actually buying something. So that will make a difference. So you have to have a, you can make a equation how these two things are functionally related. So you make an equation y is equal to fx. Y is a function of x. Y is your dependent variable, that is profit, and x is the independent variable, which, and all these things, what will be, how it will change. You can do this using statistical model, and you can draw the graph, you can see what is the relationship, all these things in a matter of seconds. You just have to have the data, just feed in the data, and the relationship will be given by the various software which you are using it. So it is making our work easier as well as more efficient, because even doing a small thing, see, there are 6 places where computerization really helps you. First is your the size of data. As the volume of data increases, if you are doing it manually, it will require a lot of time. But doing it through computers or through information technology, the main thing which has improved is the volume and the speed. The speed with which you do the analysis, that has also improved extremely. So these two things are very important, capacity and speed. Then third is your interacting variable. There are so many things which are affecting the outcome. So analyzing all these things manually requires a lot of time and it will become very confusing. So you can easily do it through information technology. Then if you put accurate input, then you should get exact output. There are sometimes, like for example, when you are making, producing a product, then you know exactly if you, what should be the length of the, say it is a table, what should be the area of the tabletop, what should, how much material is required, then exactly you know what will be our output. But suppose you are making a budget, so in that you will not get the same effect on the information generation, because that there you will be making certain assumptions. It might happen, it might not happen. What will be your revenue and what will be your expenses? Something which you're doing in the future. So here, exact input, accurate input, then exact output. So if you are not putting in exact input, if it is said garbage in, garbage out, isn't it? So you have to see the input which you are putting, because your output will depend upon your input. So don't put, you should be very careful with the input which you are putting in, because you will be making analysis on the output. So if your input is not correct, your output will not be correct, and then your analysis will also not be correct. And the last is your repetitiveness. Here, like for example, if I tell you to write, I'm a good girl, I'm a good person, just a simple sentence, but 100 times, what will happen? After some time, you start making mistakes because of boredom, because of fatigue, all these things. But if you are asking a computer to write this sentence, thousand, even 1,000 times, 10,000 times, it will not make mistake, because it is not getting bored. So repetitiveness, this helps you in doing repetitive types of jobs. So on these 6 parameters, it helps you a lot in getting a very good quality of information on which you can take data, decision. So first is your input is data. So your data should be correct. And it is the people who will be handling it. Finally, it is the people who are handling it. If they don't handle it carefully, naturally, the things which will come out will be not be up to the mark. This is just a diagram, the same four components: hardware, software, data, and people. So the output will depend upon how you are utilizing these four components. Software should also be up to the mark. You should use the software which will be giving you the result which you are looking for. That is, suppose if you are making a data base using a word processor, you can make a database, but it will not give you the relationship. Like you must have heard about database management system. There are three types of databases. One is your hierarchical, one is relational. These are the basic. There are others also, but three: relational, hierarchical, and uh, um, uh, relational. So you have to see. So for this you need software which will be representing in those form. And then only, like for example, relational, you have certain field through which, like for example, for us, like in university, we have a employee number. So that is the key point. That employee number can give all the information about me to the administrator, whether I have taken leave, what courses I am teaching, what is my pay scale, what are the leaves I have taken, all those things. So there is no redundancy of data. The way database are organized is very important, because you will be retrieving this data later to make further decision. So it is very essential you organize your data in a way that is easily available to the users. Next one, there are naturally, as I had told you earlier, there will be always pros and cons. Everything is not a cakewalk. Yes, continue.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, sir. Good evening, everybody. So the next topic is pros and cons. While MIS provides several benefits to organizations, such as improved decision-making, increased efficiency, and reduced costs, its implementation can pose challenges for organizations due to various factors. Firstly, we'll see the pros. MIS helps managers make better decisions by providing real-time and accurate information for trend identification and predicting future outcomes. Next is MIS automates many manual processes, reducing the time and effort required to collect and process data. This automation improves efficiency. And finally, MIS reduces costs by eliminating manual processes and improving efficiency. Talking about cons, we'll start with MIS has technical challenges, including selecting the appropriate hardware and software, integrating with existing systems, and ensuring data security. Now, MIS professionals need specialized skills, and hence organizations must ensure that their employees receive adequate training. And lastly, to successfully implement MIS, organizations must overcome employee resistance to change. Hence, they should be clearly told about the benefits of the new system. Thank you.
As I told you, like when in the banking system, when it was being converted from manual to computerized system, people were very apprehensive about the new system. There was a lot of fear in them that they'll be losing their job, but nothing happened, and they are reaping the benefit of that. Today we are having so much benefit in the financial sector, not what only financial, every sector. But I'm just giving you one which I have seen in front of my eyes, how it was converted from the manual system to the digitized system. similarly in various libraries across India, because my sister was working in a IIT Kanpur library. So I have seen them, how these people, because see, to convert something, you need both the operational knowledge as well as the technical knowledge. So these people who are working there, they had the operational knowledge, but they did not have the technical knowledge, because the way they were doing it manually, exactly that same thing is being done in a digital manner, but the process requires certain skills and certain knowledge about the technical aspects. So how it was done, so the people with the operational knowledge only were given the technical knowledge from the technical side, and then they converted the whole manual system into. So for that, they should be clearly told ki what are the benefits. Otherwise, they'll be scared to go for the new system. This is now things have changed. Now you are taking it for granted, but now uh, uh, we are we have moved from that thing, that now we cannot think of a life without this technical backup which we are enjoying today. uh, Next, what is this is just a summary of whatever we were talking about. Hello, can you
Management
hear me?
information system. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes,
I'm
yes.
audible, ma'am.
You are audible.
Management information system. Management, various management functions, planning, organizing, staffing, directing, controlling, monitoring, and reporting and budgeting. Uh, then, then is information. What happened?
Data collecting regarding management
Information.
function.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
See, this is three words are there: management information system. So here I have just broken up into different parts. Management. What does management mean? What does information mean? And what does system mean? And then together they form the management information system. You continue. I'm coming.
Okay, ma'am. Information. Information is data collecting regarding management functions, then converting them into information for management decision making. Then system, doing things in a systematic way, that is integrating the managerial functions for achieving organizational goals.
See, management, what does it mean? First of all, planning. Whatever you are going to do, how you are going to do it. Suppose, like for example, today you had a class from 6 p.m. So naturally, you had planned in the morning only. If you had some other work during the same time, you would have must have postponed it. So, or what you are going to do with your life. So you plan what all you are going to study, where you are going to study, what should be the input, everywhere. Planning is the very basic things which we do for managing anything, whether it is my own life, whether it is my career, whether it is uh, my house, whether it is my office, whether it is corporation. So planning is the basic thing. Otherwise, you will not be able to achieve the goals which you are looking for. Then once you have done the planning, it is organizing. How will you do about it? Which things to be activities to be done first, which should be done parallelly, all these things, organizing things. Then who all be helping you in achieving that? Then directing all these people when to do, what to do, how to do. Then controlling and monitoring is same, because see, controlling is why we want to see whatever we had planned, whether it is moving according to my plan. Suppose I had planned to complete this job in 2 days. but I think it is taking more than 2 days. So naturally, it will affect the following the jobs following that. So we have to see. I have to monitor and see, control it. I have to see that it has to be completed in that the number of days which was allotted to that activity. Then reporting the way your things are going, whether you are reporting some higher authority or you are reporting to the customers, how things, and budgeting. Naturally, without finance, nothing can be done. How to achieve all these things within the budget which has been allotted to you, or maybe you, when you are making the budget for that particular organization, how much money you will be requiring for each and every activities. And so these 7 features are very important for any manager, and for this only we take decisions. So this is management. Then information is what? Data collecting regarding management functions, converting them into information for management decision making. तो I'm collecting, प्लानिंग जो हम कर रहे हैं तो उसके विषय में जो डेटा कलेक्ट करेंगे, ऑर्गेनाइजिंग कैसे करेंगे, स्टाफिंग कैसे करेंगे, सब. Then I'll take decision accordingly. And system is the integrated approach. कोई भी काम एक से नहीं होगा. In an organization also, you have 4 basic functional areas: finance, HR, marketing, and operations. तो ये चारों जब तक मिलके काम नहीं करेंगे, यू विल नॉट बी एबल टू अचीव जो भी आपका गोल है. सपोज आप, जैसे हमने पहले कहा था कि यू आर प्रोड्यूसिंग कार्स, फॉर एग्जांपल इंडिका और एनी टाटा मोटर्स का कोई भी प्रोडक्ट हो, तो हाउ विल यू उसको प्रोड्यूस करने में व्हाट इज द मनी रिक्वायरमेंट, कैसे कहाँ क्या खर्च होगा, तो दैट द फाइनेंस डिपार्टमेंट हैज टू सी. देन ऑपरेशन, इनिशियली क्या करना होगा, कौन से टूल्स को एक साथ जोड़ने होंगे, कैसे वो डेवलप करेगा, फाइनल प्रोडक्ट कहाँ जाएगा. So that is the whole operation, whatever we are doing. Whether you are running a school, then from where to get the students, what type of education you will be giving the students, what type of teachers you will be requiring for the thing. That is staffing, you can say. Anything you take, whether it is a product or service, all these basic requirements are there. And टुगेदर मार्केटिंग करोगे तभी तो पता चलेगा कि आपको उस सामान को बेचना है. यदि आप नहीं बेचोगे तो वॉट एवर यू हैव द इनपुट जो तुमने लगाया है, तो आउटपुट कहाँ से आएगा. देन HR is important because HR is only handling the whole operation. तो ये 4 function areas जो है, integrated way से they work together for achieving the goals of the organization. And for everyone requires information to fulfill whatever they are trying to achieve. Now next, nature and scope. ये कौन पढ़ेगा?
Yes, ma'am.
Nature and scope. MIS has
Borrowed.
borrowed the management concept from various disciplines such as accounting, computing, organizing, management, and operations. Because of these techniques,
This is the interdisciplinary nature.
MIS, it is considered both as art and science. The nature of management information system is that it can be used for purpose of decision making. This is the system which provides all the necessary information about the organization.
So you can see MIS के nature, all this is affected by MIS, and MIS affects all these things. First is your research and design. किसी भी काम को करना है तो आप रिसर्च करेंगे कि what is the demand for that object, किस टाइप के फीचर्स चाहिए, लोगों को क्या पसंद है, क्योंकि फाइनली द whatever you are doing, whether you are doing a service or you are doing producing a product, it is finally depends upon the customer who is going to buy it. So you have to keep that customer in mind. Research करना पड़ेगा. You have to design accordingly. So research and design is the essential part of any MIS. Then simulation. Simulation, what does it mean? You are making a model. It can be a physical model, it can be a mathematical model, instead of actually doing it. Like if, for example, when astronauts are sent in space, वहां तो उनको वेटलेसनेस एक्सपीरियंस करना पड़ता है. तो ऐसा थोड़ी होता कि बिना वो सिमुलेटेड एटमोस्फियर में पहले रखना पड़ता है, वेयर दे कैन फील इट, how to manage themselves in that weightlessness situation. So, yeah, for example, sometimes when you are learning how to drive, instead of driving on an actual car, you use a simulator जो सब आपको सारा एक्सपीरियंस देगा, पर एक्चुअली कुछ नहीं होगा. मान लीजिए आप ठीक से नहीं चला रहे हैं और आप क्रैश कर जाते हैं, तो वो सारा एक्सपीरियंस यू कैन फील इट, बट injury nahi hoga. So simulation is there. Then operation, whatever you are doing, whether you're producing a product or you are making giving some service, जो भी ऑपरेशन जरूरी है, जो इनपुट, क्या इनपुट होगा, क्या प्रोसेस होगा, क्या आउटपुट होगा. देन ह्यूमन रिसोर्स के बिना तो कुछ हो ही नहीं सकता है, because finally it is the human resource with their different skills and capabilities and knowledge. They will be handling everything, both the technology as well as the operations in producing that particular product or service. अब कंप्यूटर साइंस तो बिना हो ही नहीं सकता है, because we are, all these things are being is based on information technology, which the base is computer science. And I said planning, क्योंकि यू कैनॉट हैपहैजर्डली जाने से नहीं होगा, एडहॉक करने से तो कुछ नहीं होगा, बिकॉज इट इज अ लॉन्ग टर्म थिंग्स व्हिच यू हैव टू प्लान, meticulously plan it and see कि things should move in this way. Then marketing, if you don't do marketing, where will you sell your product and get the return on your product? And finance, what, from where to get the money, how to utilize that money, and everything is being governed through the finance. कि finance ही नहीं होगा तो आगे कोई काम ही नहीं होगा. So all these things are being affected by MIS, and MIS affects everything. Next person, types of information. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Types
Types of information. First one is action versus non-action. The information which induces action is called action information. The information which communicates only the status of a situation is no action information. No stock report calling a purchase action is action information, but the stock ledger showing the store transactions and the stock balances is no action information. Second one is recurring versus non-recurring. The information generated at regular intervals is recurring information. The monthly sales reports, the stock statements, the trial balance, etc. are recurring information. The financial analysis or the report on the market's research study is non-recurring information. Third one is internal versus external. The information generated through the internal sources of the organization is termed as internal information, while the information generated through the government reports, the industry surveys, etc., is termed as external information, as the sources of the data are outside the organization.
जैसे एक्शन हो गया, जैसे मान लो कि यू हैव बॉट समथिंग, अभी उसका पेमेंट नहीं किया है, वो उसका बिल आ जाता, तो यू हैव टू टेक इमीडिएट एक्शन, जाके उसका पेमेंट करना होगा. और यदि मान लो पेमेंट कर दिया है, बस आ गया कि हाँ आपका पेमेंट मिल गया, तो यू डोंट हैव टू टेक एनी एक्शन. वो इंफॉर्मेशन यू जस्ट हैव टू स्टोर इट फॉर मे बी फ्यूचर यूज और फॉर योर ओन पर्सनल यूज. देन रिकरिंग वर्सेस नॉन रिकरिंग. रिकरिंग जो हर एक पीरियड के बाद हो रहा है, वेदर इट इज मंथली और वीकली और डेली, एंड नॉन रिकरिंग इज वंस इन अ वाइल. एंड इंटरनल वर्सेस एक्सटर्नल, अभी जैसे वी नीड बोथ द इंफॉर्मेशन. जो हमारी क्या कैपेसिटी है, हमारा फाइनेंस डिपार्टमेंट कैसा काम कर रहा है, हमारा मार्केटिंग डिपार्टमेंट कैसा काम कर, हमारा एचआर डिपार्टमेंट कैसे काम कर रहा है. एंड एक्सटर्नल इज गवर्नमेंट के रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशन क्या है, मार्केट का क्या सिचुएशन है, व्हाट इज द परचेसिंग पावर ऑफ द पीपल, व्हाट आर द थिंग्स विच इज डिमांडेड, is in demand in the market, or how to create or induce that demand in the market, how you can do it. So we can categorize information under these categories. And अब शुरू करो.
Historical, present, and futuristic. Any information which has been generated in the past is historical. Information which is being generated during current season is a present information. And any future prediction is future information. For example, past records of an organization are historical information. Then reports of ongoing operations are present
Yes.
information. And any future prediction using statistical or
Mathematical.
any using statistical or mathematical models is futuristic information.
जैसे हम लोग
Then
डिमांड फ्यूचर करते हैं ना, देखते हैं कि फ्यूचर में इसका क्या डिमांड होगा, कुछ मैथमेटिकल या स्टैटिस्टिकल मॉडल से डेटा कलेक्ट करके उस स्टैटिस्टिकल मॉडल या मैथमेटिकल मॉडल में फिट करके देखते हैं कि क्या होगा डिमांड. उसी हिसाब से हम बनाते हैं सामान. कहीं कहीं तो ऐसा है कि हम सामान तब बनाते हैं जब हमें ऑर्डर मिल जाता है, और कहीं ऐसा हमेशा तो नहीं होता है ना. वी हैव टू सी कि व्हाट विल बी द डिमांड इन फ्यूचर. इसीलिए कुछ ऊपर कुछ नीचे हो जाता है. देयर आर टू टाइप ऑफ लॉसेस. समटाइम्स यू मेक मोर देन व्हाट इज डिमांड, एंड समटाइम्स यू मेक लेस देन व्हाट इज डिमांडेड. तो सब कहीं कहीं पर तो एक्चुअल लॉस हो जाता है, कहीं कहीं अपॉर्चुनिटी लॉस हो जाता है. तो if we have a very good information system where we can predict this, ऐसा है कि कोई 100% तो आज तक नहीं कर सकता है, but as far as possible you have to minimize this gap between reality and actual the demand. Documentary versus non-documentary.
then second is documentary versus non-documentary. Any information documented somewhere is known as documentary information. For example, information on the walls of caves, then general books, then, then general books in house publications, hard and soft copy from computers, etc. Then similarly, any information which is verbal is non-documentary information. For example, information passed from one generation to another verbally, word, too much advertisement of a product, information moving on the grapevine of an organization.
So
Then
it
third
is
one
not
is formal
necessary.
versus informal.
हाँ,
Sorry,
शुरू
ma'am.
करो. हाँ, बोलो.
Then third one is formal versus information. Information generated through an organization is known as information. For example, the financial reports, balance sheets, then production plans, etc. Then similarly, any information which is not generated formally, like a office gossip, is a informal information.
वहाँ फॉर्मल छूट गया है, नोन एज फॉर्मल इन्फॉर्म. जैसे डॉक्यूमेंट्री है, जो चीज हमने लिख के रखा हुआ है, ठीक है, केव्स पर ही लिखा हुआ है, मगर है तो डॉक्यूमेंटेड, हम देख के कर सकते हैं, जो हम किताबों में पढ़ रहे हैं. मगर कितने सारे इंफॉर्मेशन है जो जैसे स्पेशली इन इंडिया बहुत सारे बातें ऐसी हैं जो हैज बीन मूव फ्रॉम वन जनरेशन टू अनदर जनरेशन वर्बली. तो हम उस इंफॉर्मेशन पर भी डिसीजन लेते हैं. ऐसा नहीं है कि केवल डॉक्यूमेंट्री इंफॉर्मेशन पर ये डिसीजन लेते हैं, इवन नॉन डॉक्यूमेंट्री इंफॉर्मेशन पर भी हम कभी कभी डिसीजन लेते हैं. एंड फॉर एग्जाम्पल एडवर्टीजमेंट में भी कर सकते हैं, जरूरी नहीं है कि हम फॉर्मली एडवर्टाइज करें। हमने कुछ सामान खरीदा, ये बहुत अच्छा लगा, उसके अच्छे फीचर्स थे, आई टेल टू माई फ्रेंड्स टेल टू देयर नंबर ऑफ फ्रेंड्स एंड सो ऑन। सो नेटवर्किंग हो जाता है, नेटवर्किंग से भी, माने वर्बल नेटवर्किंग से भी वो एडवर्टाइज हो जाता है सामान, एंड दिस वे ऑल्सो इट इज बीइंग सोल्ड। तो there is importance of both documentary and non-documentary information. Then formal versus non-informal. अब फॉर्मल तो जो फॉर्मली प्रोड्यूस हो रहा है, जर्नल्स में हो रहा है, जो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं, रिपोर्ट्स प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं। इनफॉर्मल है, जैसे अब ग्रेप वैन भी क्या है, एक तरह का वो इनफॉर्मल इंफॉर्मेशन। समटाइम्स दोज इंफॉर्मेशन आर आल्सो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, because for example suppose if you want to know something about your competitor, उसके बारे में कुछ जानना है तो फॉर्मली तो तुम्हें नहीं पता चलेगा, तुम्हें कुछ लोगों से मिलना होगा, मे बी इन योर पार्टीज और योर इनफॉर्मल मीटिंग वगैरह, उससे आप लोगों से बातचीत कीजिए और अपने कंपिटिटर के बारे में जानिए, विच विल कम टू यू एंड दैट इम्पोर्टेंट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू यू। उससे भी आप डिसीजन ले सकते हैं कि आपका कंपिटिटर क्या कर रहा है, तो अकॉर्डिंगली यू विल टेक डिसीजन। तो दैट आल्सो हेल्प्स यू इन डिसीजन मेकिंग। बट हियर not only formal but informal or non-documentary information also helps you in decision making. जो ऑफिस में गपशप हो रहा है उससे भी आपको बहुत सारे इंफॉर्मेशन मिल जाएंगे, एंड देन यू नो कि हाउ टू कंडक्ट योरसेल्फ इन द ऑफिस। सब कुछ रूल बुक्स में नहीं लिखा रहता है, देयर आर सो मेनी थिंग्स which you have to learn through the your classmates or your office mates or your house, your family members, which are told to you how to do, what not to do, things like that, and then you take decision accordingly. Next.
Short term versus long term. Information which is required for a short term planning is known as short term information, whereas information required for a long term planning is known as a long term information. For example, information required for a planning a schedule for production will be term information. Then, whereas the information required for launching a new product will be long term or strategic information. Then is control information. The reporting the status of an activity through a feedback mechanism is called a control information. When such information show a deviation from the goal or a objective, it will induce a decision or an action leading to control. The action information, the
in recurring information,
the hello.
हाँ
The
हाँ,
recurring information and the internal information are the prime areas of computerization, and they contribute qualitatively to the
MIS.
MIS.
जैसे अब सपोज आप अपने ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के लिए कुछ सामान खरीदना चाहते हैं जो कल इस हफ्ते रिक्वायर्ड है, तो दैट विल बी शॉर्ट टर्म इंफॉर्मेशन। बट फॉर एग्जांपल इफ यू आर गोइंग टू सेट अप अ फैक्ट्री, तो ये लॉन्ग टर्म है, और you want to set up a university, that is a long term planning. So this is also known as strategic information. Strategic is for the long term, and short term में हम या तो tactical information बोलते हैं या operational कहते हैं. Operational will be day to day, and tactical will be for a very much shorter period than the strategic information. Control and monitoring, the management function जब हम कर रहे थे, तो I had said control and monitoring. आप कंट्रोल करेंगे, देखेंगे, मॉनिटर करेंगे तभी तो देखेंगे। ऐसा नहीं है कि आपने काम शुरू कर दिया फिर आप रिलैक्स करने लगे। अब जब काम बिगड़ गया तो क्या करेंगे? तो इट इज बेटर कि यू कीप एन आई ऑन द हाउ वर्क आर गोइंग ऑन, कीप ऑन मॉनिटरिंग। तो कहीं भी डिविएशन हुआ जो आपके प्लानिंग से थोड़ा हटके हुआ तो क्यों हुआ, कैसे तुरंत उसको आप ठीक करेंगे। So it is very essential to you keep on monitoring, and through monitoring only you can do the controlling. And सब कुछ आप कंप्यूटराइज नहीं कर सकते हैं, मगर जहां कर सकते हैं इट हेल्प्स यू अ लॉट इन डिसीजन मेकिंग. जैसे अब तो टेक्नोलॉजी हैज इम्प्रूव्ड सच अ लॉट दैट इवन not very structured information can also be computerized. So we are talking of artificial intelligence, which is using human intellect. जैसे हम लोग सोचते हैं, समझते हैं, काम करते हैं, उसी तरह मशीन को भी हम वैसे सिखा रहे हैं कि वो भी वैसे ही काम करे. Next, information needs.
Information needs of manager according to their position in the organization level, executive, to make strategic decision, then decision, unstructured system, executive support system, example CEO, then senior manager to make practical decision, then decision, semi-structure, then uh, system decision
Decision.
support system.
Hmm.
Example, functional managers, marketing, operations, financial, human resource.
Hmm.
Then is middle manager to make operational decision. Uh, in decision column structure, in system management, uh,
Management information system.
management information system.
Actually, this word
Example,
management is used ओवरऑल भी यूज करते हैं और फॉर मिडिल मैनेजर भी यूज करते हैं. हाँ बोलो
example,
एग्जांपल.
service data workers. Then last is workers to make operational decision. It is structured and then system transaction support system. Example, staff.
तो ये देखो, जैसे in any organization people will be working at various levels. ऐसा तो नहीं कि सब लोग एक ही लेवल पर काम कर रहे होंगे. तो सबके किस लेवल पर काम कर रहे हैं उसके अकॉर्डिंगली उनका इंफॉर्मेशन नीड्स रहेगा. अब जैसे टॉप लेवल में है, उसको तो पूरी समझी चाहिए ना कि अपने ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के अंदर क्या हो रहा है और बाहर क्या हो रहा है, क्योंकि उसको दोनों को देखना है. With computerization what happens, suppose if he has a summary, उसमें किसी चीज का वो डिटेल डालना चाहता है, तो that is hyperlinked with that particular report. So he can, with the click of the mouse, he can see the detail also. But यह ज्यादातर जो टॉप लेवल पर है, जो सीईओ हैं, चाहे जो ओनर भी हैं ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के, वो दे वांट, उनका ज्यादातर जो डिसीजन मेकिंग है वो अनस्ट्रक्चर्ड है. उनको ये नहीं पता इस काम को ऐसे 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 वो एल्गोरिथम लिखा हुआ है, ऐसा नहीं है. दे हैव द इंफॉर्मेशन, दे हैव टू एनालाइज देम एंड देन दे टेक द डिसीजन. और इट इज नोन एज एग्जीक्यूटिव सपोर्ट सिस्टम और ईएसएस. जो इंफॉर्मेशन सिस्टम इन लोग यूज करते हैं, एग्जीक्यूटिव सपोर्ट सिस्टम, दैट इज नोन एज एग्जीक्यूटिव सपोर्ट सिस्टम. कहीं कहीं ईआईएस भी लिखा रहता है, एग्जीक्यूटिव इंफॉर्मेशन सिस्टम. बट इट इज basically unstructured and it is a summary of both external as well as internal information. अब सीनियर मैनेजर्स कौन हुए? जो एक एक फंक्शनल एरिया के हैं, या तो मार्केटिंग में है, या फिनेंस में है, या एचआर में है, या ऑपरेशंस में है. ये 4 फंक्शनल एरियाज हुए. तो इसके अलग अलग हुए. इनका कुछ काम तो स्ट्रक्चर्ड होता है, कुछ अनस्ट्रक्चर्ड होता है, तो सेमी स्ट्रक्चर्ड रहता है. कहीं कहीं तुमको पता है ये काम ऐसे 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 करना है स्ट्रक्चर्ड वे में, कुछ नहीं भी पता है. और इनका जो सिस्टम है उसको हम कहते हैं डिसीजन सपोर्ट सिस्टम. डिसीजन सपोर्ट सिस्टम इसलिए कहते हैं क्योंकि जो डिसीजन ये लेंगे वो इंफॉर्मेशन उसको सपोर्ट करती है थ्रू मॉडल्स एज वेल एज डेटा. डेटा रहेगा तभी तो ले सकते हैं कि ये डेटा है कि लोगों का आज क्या, किस कलर, कोई मान लो फैशन इंडस्ट्री में है तो क्या किस तरह के प्रिंट्स आजकल चल रहे हैं, या फ्यूचर में क्या डिमांड आएगा, कौन सा कलर डिमांड आएगा, क्या कट डिमांड आएगा. तो उसके हिसाब से वो डिसीजन उस तरह के प्रोडक्ट प्रोड्यूस करेंगे. तो इनका, या जैसे आई हैड टोल्ड यू अबाउट फुटफॉल एंड एक आप मैथमेटिकल मॉडल बना लीजिए या स्टैटिस्टिकल मॉडल बना दिए, y is equal to fx, where y is your profit and x is your the number of purchase being done at your shop. तो आप उससे एक निकाल सकते हैं कि आज 100 दिन का डेटा लेके आप y is equal to fx निकाल लीजिए रिलेशनशिप, देन फ्यूचर के लिए भी ऑल्सो यू कैन डू द प्रोडिक्शन. जनरली जो मैथमेटिकली फ्यूचर प्रोडिक्शन होता है उसमें यूज दिस रिग्रेशन इक्वेशन टू डू द फ्यूचर प्रोडिक्शन. तो इसमें सभी फंक्शनल एरियाज आ गए. तुम्हारे मार्केटिंग हो गया, ऑपरेशंस हो गया, फाइनेंस हो गया, ह्यूमन रिसोर्स हो गया. उनको अपने अपने एरिया के लिए देखना है कि हमें क्या करना है फॉर द फुलफिलमेंट ऑफ द ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल गोल. ये चारों मिलके काम करेंगे. वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट सिस्टम. दिस सिस्टम इज वर्किंग टुगेदर फॉर द बेनिफिट ऑफ द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन टू फुलफिल द ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल गोल. For to fulfill that organization goal, they require knowledge from, जैसे हमारा बॉडी है, it has got so many organs, हार्ट है, लंग्स हैं, मगर ऐसा तो नहीं है कि आइसोलेशन में तो काम नहीं कर रहे हैं. सबके थ्रू एक सेमी परमिएबल मेम्ब्रेन से मैसेज जा रहा है. आपका एक जगह भी कोई प्रॉब्लम होगी तो पूरे बॉडी को पता हो जाता है. तो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में भी इसी तरह काम होना चाहिए. जो ये चारों फंक्शनल एरियाज हैं उनको मिलकर काम करना है टू फुलफिल द ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल गोल. जो भी चीज आप प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं या जो भी सर्विस आप दे रहे हैं. देन यू हैव मिडिल मैनेजर्स जो सबसे नीचे हैं, जो डेली का ऑपरेशन देख रहे हैं या मंथली का देख रहे हैं. मान लीजिए आप कार प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं तो आज कितने कार्स आपको एक दिन में निकालने हैं, उसमें क्या क्या चाहिए. तो इनका जो डिसीजन है जो स्ट्रक्चर्ड है, उनको ऊपर से ये मिला रहता है कि आज आपको ये काम करना, उनको उसी तरह करना है. तो दिस इज ऑल्सो नोन एज मैनेजमेंट इंफॉर्मेशन सिस्टम. ये ज्यादातर सर्विस या डेटा वर्कर्स होते हैं जो सबसे लोएस्ट लेवल ऑफ मैनेजमेंट में आते हैं. उसके नीचे हैं जो स्टाफ हुए, जो वर्कर्स हुए, जो एक्चुअली डेली जिनसे ये मिडिल मैनेजर्स काम करवाते हैं. ये इनका पूरा स्ट्रक्चर है. मान लो बिल ही बनाना है तो स्ट्रक्चर्ड है. बिल में क्या करना पड़ता है आपको, क्या क्या सामान आप खरीदे, कितने उसके यूनिट्स हुए, एक यूनिट का क्या प्राइस हुआ, उसको मल्टीप्लाई कर दिए, टोटल को जोड़ दिए, वो हो गया. वो ए करे, बी करे, सी करे या कंप्यूटर करे, उसमें कुछ अपना दिमाग किसी को लगाने की जरूरत नहीं है. बट जहाँ अनस्ट्रक्चर्ड है या सेमी स्ट्रक्चर्ड है तो यू हैव टू डू द एनालिसिस योरसेल्फ एंड सी यू विल गेट सपोर्ट. लाइक सेकंड में हमने लिखा डिसीजन सपोर्ट सिस्टम. यू विल गेट सपोर्ट from the information which is being passed to you, and based on that you have to take decision. Continue.
The next point is information as required at different levels of management can be classified as operational, tactical, and strategic. Then operational information. Operational information relates to the day-to-day operations of the organization and thus is useful in exercising control over the operations that are repetitive in nature. Since such activities are controlled at lower levels of management, operational information is needed by the lower management. It may be noted that operational information pertains to activities that are easily measurable by specific standards. The operational information mainly relates to current and historical performance and is based primarily on internal sources of data. The predictive element in operational information is quite low, and if at all it is there, it has a short-term horizon. For example, the information regarding the cash position on day-to-day basis is monitored and controlled at the lower levels of management. Similarly, in marketing function, daily and weekly sales information is used by lower level manager to monitor the performance of the sales force.
ये उसी चीज को जैसे ऑपरेशनल हुआ जो डे टू डे या वीकली ऐसे एट द लोएस्ट लेवल क्या करना है आपको. It is mostly structured. Continue.
Then tactical information. Tactical information helps middle level managers allocating resources and establishing controls to implement the top levels plans of the organization. For example, information regarding the alternative sources of funds and their uses in the short run, opportunities for the deployment of surplus funds in short term securities, etc., may be required at the middle levels of management. The tactical information is generally predictive, focusing on short-term trends. It may be partly current and partly historical and may come from internal as well as external sources.
ये मिडिल
Strategic
लेवल पे।
information.
हाँ बोलो, पढ़ो।
While the operational information is needed to find out how the given activity can be performed better, strategic information is needed for making choices among the business options. The strategic information helps in identifying and evaluating these options so that a manager makes informed choices which are different from the competitors and the limitations of what the rivals are doing or planning to do. Such choices are made by leaders only.
तो ये आपका एकदम टॉप लेवल का हो गया।
Strategic information is used by managers to define goals and priorities, initiate new programs, and develop policies for acquisition and use of corporate resources. For example, information regarding the long term needs of funds for ongoing and future projects of the company may be used by top level managers in taking decisions regarding going public or approaching financial institutions for term loan. Strategic information is predictive in nature, relies heavily on external sources of data, has a long-term perspective, and is mostly in summary form. It may sometimes include what-if scenarios. However, the strategic information is not only external information. For long, it was believed that strategic information is basically information regarding the external environment. However, it is now well recognized that the internal factors are equally responsible for success or failures of strategies, and thus, internal information is also required for strategic decision making. Thus, we can see that information needs is dependent on the level of at which the executive is working. Each type of information has its role to play in managerial effectiveness. These needs are not shut in watertight compartments. Each type of information is needed with varying degree by the managers at all levels. For example, top level managers need information for making strategic long-term decisions, and lowest level managers need information for making operational short-term decisions. But that does not mean that an operational information will not be used chief executive officer of a company.
So we have seen कि जैसे टॉप लेवल पे है तो उसको स्ट्रैटेजिक करना, बट क्या नीचे भी हो रहा है? अदर यू नो ही और शी हैज टू नो द समरी, बट उस समरी का भी किसी एक पॉइंट में उसका नजर चला गया एंड ही और शी वांट्स टू नो द डिटेल, so that should be, because of computerization now, that is easily available. ऐसा नहीं था कि पहले नहीं था, मगर उसमें थोड़ा टाइम लगता था, मगर अब ये इट इज इजीली अवेलेबल. इट इज हाइपरलिंक टू दैट पर्टिकुलर रिपोर्ट एंड यू कैन क्लिक ऑन दैट. जैसे हम लोग कभी कुछ चीज सर्च कर रहे हैं, किसी चीज को सर्च कर रहे हैं, कोई चीज हमें नहीं समझ में आ रहा है, तो वो फिर इट इज हाइपरलिंक विद द डिटेल ऑफ दैट थिंग. तो इट इज समथिंग लाइक दैट. तो overall, to we say strategic information is for the highest level, but if they want operational information, they should have the access to it. तो ये एक डायग्राम है in which all the levels of information system is there. जैसे पहला एग्जीक्यूटिव है, एग्जीक्यूटिव इंफॉर्मेशन सिस्टम. एज आई टोल्ड यू, इट कैन बी बोथ EISS और EIS और ESS, एग्जीक्यूटिव सपोर्ट सिस्टम भी कहते हैं. देन सीनियर मैनेजर्स में हो गया डिसीजन सपोर्ट सिस्टम, मिडिल मैनेजर में हो गया मैनेजमेंट इंफॉर्मेशन सिस्टम, और वर्कर्स का आ गया ट्रांजैक्शन प्रोसेसिंग सिस्टम. और इट इज फ्लोइंग फ्रॉम टॉप टू बोथ वेज, एग्जीक्यूटिव से वर्कर्स और वर्कर्स से एग्जीक्यूटिव. That is why today, because of the information boon, almost everything is known to everyone. बहुत लोग उसको मैंने चाहकर भी नहीं छिपा सकते हैं. Now, types of decision. Who's going to read it?
Ma'am. Okay, types of decisions. First, program decisions, made using a rule, procedure, or quantitative method. That second is, it is easy to computerize using traditional information systems. Examples: how many workers to staff line A? What is the EOQ for raw material Z? Next, non-program decisions. Decisions that deals with
Unusual. Hello, क्या हुआ? Hello.
10% final is optimization, staticizing, and heuristics. First is optimization models, a process that finds the best solution, usually the one that will best help the organization's meet its goals. A staticizing model, a process that finds a good but not necessarily the best solution. And finally, heuristics, commonly accepted guidelines or procedures that usually find a good solution.
So we have different types. प्रोग्राम है, वो पता है कि इस काम को ऐसे ऐसे, जो उसका क्लियर कट अल्गोरिदम है. जैसे हम वी यूज EOQ मॉडल फॉर इन्वेंट्री. तो उसमें हमें क्या देना है, हम जो क्या ऑप्टिमम नंबर ऑफ यूनिट आई शुड ऑर्डर, तो उसका एक फॉर्मूला है, उसको हम यूज करते हैं एंड वी कैन फाइंड आउट. बट जनरली क्या होता है कि इतना प्रोग्राम होता नहीं है, मतलब इतना क्लियर कट हमेशा डिसीजन नहीं लिया जा सकता है, because life does not follow those rules. So you have to take non-programmed decisions and see, this will help you. थोड़ा उससे कम या उससे बेसी लेकर हम अपने whatever work we are doing, we do it. So we also go for non-programmed decision, which is not easily quantifiable. उसको क्वांटिफाई हम नहीं कर सकते हैं. जैसे कोई मर्जिंग का है या प्राइस राइज कर, सब तो हम नहीं करते हैं. तो वी दैट इज व्हाई एट द हायर लेवल यू गो फॉर नॉन प्रोग्राम डिसीजन, क्योंकि उनको ओवरऑल देखना है, बहुत कुछ देखना है, इंटरनल भी देखना है, एक्सटर्नल भी देखना है, क्या होगा कल. यू आर नॉट 100% श्योर. यदि some prediction has been done for the future, there also, even if you are using statistics we say with how much confidence you are giving your result. क्योंकि हम हमेशा पूरा सर्वे तो नहीं कर सकते हैं ना, पूरा का पूरा नहीं ले सकते. We take a sample which is a representative of the universe. तो उस सैंपल पर बेस्ड हम जो भी डिसीजन लेते हैं, हम पूरे सैंपल के लिए, पूरे यूनिवर्स के लिए ले लेते हैं. तो वहां पर भी हम the making an error is always there. You have taken the wrong decision. जैसे जनरली इसको हम अल्फा से डिनोट करते हैं, 5% हो सकता है, 10% हो सकता है, विच इज नोन ऑल्सो नोन एज लेवल ऑफ सिग्निफिकेंस. आपके डिसीजन मेकिंग का क्या लेवल है. बट विद 5% है तो इसका मतलब हम 95% कॉन्फिडेंट है कि जो हम कर रहे हैं वो ठीक है. तो at the higher level you are not very sure how things will be moved toward. So you take decision, but you also analyze and keep this in mind that there is some scope of taking a wrong decision. You try to minimize it, but still that there is there. Then optimization is when you use, like for example, when we use a mathematical model which is known as operations research, what we do is जो रॉ मटेरियल यूज कर रहे हैं तो उसको हम कैसे यूज करें, एक एक प्रोडक्ट में कितना कितना यूज करेंगे, जो भी रॉ मटेरियल है या मशीन टाइम है या इलेक्ट्रिसिटी है, वॉट एवर इनपुट आई एम यूजिंग फॉर सिमिलर टाइप ऑफ प्रोडक्ट, कितना कितना यूज करेंगे कि जो हमारा प्रॉफिट है वो मैक्सिमाइज हो, विच इज नोन एज ऑप्टिमल अंडर सर्टन कॉन्स्टेंट। मैनेजमेंट में ये बहुत जरूरी है। वॉट एवर डिसीजन यू आर टेकिंग डिसीजन अंडर कॉन्स्टेंट। कोई चीज भी अनलिमिटेड नहीं है, जो भी रिसोर्सेज है आपके पास उस पर सब लिमिटेशन है। अंडर दोज लिमिटेशन यू हैव टू टेक द बेस्ट डिसीजन, दैट इज नोन एज ऑप्टिमाइजेशन। ऑप्टिमाइजेशन में हो सकता है मैक्सिमाइजेशन भी हो सकता है और मिनिमाइजेशन भी हो सकता है। जैसे कॉस्ट लेंगे तो मिनिमाइजेशन होगा, प्रॉफिट लेंगे तो मैक्सिमाइजेशन होगा। तो आपको जो भी कांस्टेंट है, यदि कांस्टेंट चेंज हो गया तो आपका ऑप्टिमाइजेशन भी चेंज हो जाएगा, वैल्यू ऑफ द ऑप्टिमाइजेशन कुछ और आ जाएगा। तो कांस्टेंट कॉन्स्ट्रेंट्स पर बहुत डिपेंड करता है, आप किस कॉन्स्टेंट पे काम कर सकते हैं। दैट इज व्हाई स्टॉप, वी शुड नॉट कंपेयर आवरसेल्फ विद अदर्स। पता नहीं वो किस कॉन्स्टेंट में काम कर रहा है, मैं किस कॉन्स्टेंट में काम कर रही हूँ, तो हाउ कैन आवर रिजल्ट बी द सेम। जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल इन अ क्लास द सेम लेक्चर इज गिवन टू एवरीवन, बट एवरीबडी रिजल्ट सेम तो नहीं होता है, क्योंकि देयर आर अदर कॉन्स्टेंट्स व्हिच आर डिफरेंट फॉर ईच वन ऑफ अस। तो कॉन्स्टेंट प्लेज अ वेरी मेजर रोल इन मैनेजमेंट। देन यू हैव सैटिस्फाइसिंग मॉडल। अच्छा रिजल्ट है मगर इट नीड नॉट बी ऑप्टिमल, ठीक है चल जाएगा। और ह्यूरिस्टिक है जो कॉमनली एक अच्छा रिजल्ट लेकर हम उसको लेकर काम करते हैं, जरूरी नहीं है कि वो ऑप्टिमम ही हो। हमेशा ऑप्टिमम जहां हम नहीं ले पाते हैं तो भी गो फॉर सैटिस्फाइसिंग और ह्यूरिस्टिक डिसीजन मेकिंग। Then let us move to characteristics of MIS. Next.
Now the characteristics. It should be based on a long-term planning. The next point is it should provide a holistic view of the dynamics and the structure of the organization. It should work as a complete and comprehensive system covering all interconnecting subsystems within the organization. It should be planned in a top-down way as the decision makers or the management should actively take part and provide clear direction at the development stage of the MIS. It should be based on need of strategic, operational and tactical information of managers of an organization. It should also take care of exceptional situations by reporting such situations. It should be able to make forecasts and estimates and generate advanced information, thus providing a competitive advantage. Decision makers can take actions on the basis of such predictions.
So you can see कि what we were talking up till now कि जो हम ले रहे हैं MIS, it should be long term. ये नहीं कि बस आज के लिए है, because any operation is not for one cycle, it is a repetitive cycle, it has to keep on moving. तो इस हमें जो भी काम करना है आज को देख के ही नहीं करना है, फ्यूचर को भी देख के करना है, कैसे करना है। और पूरे होलिस्टिक व्यू होना चाहिए, पूरे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को लेना है। और कुछ हो सकता है कहीं कुछ अपवाद हो जाए तो उसको भी ध्यान में रखना है। एनीथिंग विच इज, वी हैव टू कीप एवरी सिचुएशन इन टू माइंड। For that, maybe we have to bend certain rules or bend our decision making process. We'll do that and we take decision accordingly. The way things happen in the future, जो उस समय हो रहा है, even if we had not thought about it, we have to take decision for that particular situation also.
It should create linkage between all subsystems within the organization so that the decision makers can take the right decision based on an integrated view. It should allow easy flow of information through various subsystems, thus avoiding redundancy and duplicacy of data. It should simplify the operations with as much practicability as possible. Although the MIS is an integrated, complete system, it should be made in such a flexible way that it could be easily split into smaller subsystems as and when required. A central database is the backbone of a well-built MIS.
जैसे आजकल हम लोग सेंट्रल डेटाबेस का, क्योंकि फॉर एग्जांपल एक बैंक में एक आदमी का एक सेविंग अकाउंट भी है, शायद एक लोन अकाउंट भी है. अब हम सेविंग अकाउंट जो मैनेज कर रहा है उसमें उसका सारा इंफॉर्मेशन है, नेम, एज, एड्रेस, और फिर वही वही इंफॉर्मेशन लोन अकाउंट में तो डुप्लीकेट हो गया ना डेटा. इससे अच्छा एक सेंट्रल डेटाबेस रहे जहां सब कुछ अबाउट द कस्टमर इज स्टोर्ड. जो भी जरूरत है, लोन अकाउंट में जरूरत है तो वहां यूज हो जाए, सेविंग अकाउंट में जरूरत है तो वहां यूज हो जाए. नाउ इफ यू look through your computerized any of this, जैसे एसबीआई का योनो है या सेंट्रल कैनरा बैंक का एआई है, you will find all your information is at one place, whether you have taken loan, whether you have fixed deposit, or whether you have got any debit card, credit card issued, जो भी ट्रांजैक्शन हो रहा है, तो इससे डेटा रिडेंडेंसी नहीं होता है. सेंट्रल डेटाबेस, दिस इज द बैकबोन ऑफ एवरी organization. For example, at BHU, I'm working at BHU Banaras Hindu University. Over there also we have our all our information as stored at one place. So anybody wants to know ki, if the authority wants to know ki how much leave I have taken, uh, when was the period of promotion in my duty, or everything about me is there. So you can see ki central database helps to take a holistic view of the total MIS. It helps in decision making. Everybody can share, and हाँ, there are also checks. ऐसा नहीं है कि हर एक लोग हर एक चीज देख सकते. You should have the authority to use it. For example, in a bank also, if you are in a higher level position, जो तुम यूज कर सकते हो, तुम्हारे लोग जो तुम्हारे सबऑर्डिनेट्स है उनको नहीं दिए, उनके पास वो अथॉरिटी नहीं है, तो दैट राइट हैज नॉट बीन गिवन टू हिम. So you have to keep a check on both the security as well as the availability. जिसको जरूरत है उसी के पास जाए, ये नहीं है कि सबके पास चला जाए और पीपल उसे मिसयूज करने लगे. So that is a very important part. The security is a very important part of any MIS. Authorized people should be able to use the information stored in a database. Unauthorized को access नहीं होना चाहिए. And lot of security features now are built in. हम कंप्यूटर भी यूज करते हैं तो we use security features to from any unauthorized access से हम अपने सिस्टम को सेव करते हैं. तो that is there even for MIS. So non-authorized users should not be able to enter those databases. Next.
Information storage and retrieval. MIS.
Yes, continue.
Information storage and retrieval. MIS stores data as an organizational record and process for future use. The data is as of fields, records, files, and databases for future use. Information retrieval comprises of to access the stored data as per the requirements of the users.
क्योंकि हम स्टोर क्यों कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि फ्यूचर में कभी जब भी जरूरत हो तो आई कैन रिट्रीव इट. तो इट हैज टू बी स्टोर्ड इन सच अ वे. तो इसीलिए हम, जैसे आजकल ज्यादातर रिलेशनल डेटाबेसेस हैं, ऐसे नेटवर्किंग भी है, हायरार्कल भी है, बट जनरली बिकॉज दिस इज द मोस्ट कन्वीनियंट वन, रिलेशनल डेटाबेसेस. तो वहाँ फील्ड होते हैं, एक रिकॉर्ड है, मान लो तुम्हारा नाम है, तो एक रिकॉर्ड में एक एवरीथिंग अबाउट यू इज देयर, and anything I want, I can get it from there, and whenever I want. For example, suppose a policeman visits a hospital and he wants to know कि on a particular day was anyone of such and such name admitted with such and such case, कुछ accident case यहाँ आया था. तो if it is not stored प्रॉपरली, विल इट बी पॉसिबल? आज पॉसिबल है, ऐसा थोड़ी है कि मैनुअली इतने सारे रिकॉर्ड को आप देखिएगा। वो डेटाबेस इस तरह से डिजाइन किया होगा कि वो सर्च वर्ड डालो वो तुरंत आ जाता है, कि ऑन दिस पर डेट पर कर लो या नेम पर कर लो, या कुछ जो भी उनका कीवर्ड है वो डाल के यू विल नो ऑल द इंफॉर्मेशन द पुलिसमैन इज सीकिंग। दैट इज व्हाई so much money and research is being spent on retrieval, because you don't know what information you will be needing in future, when you will be needing, whether it is easily available or not. So you have to keep this in mind, that this storage of data is not just for storage but also require using it whenever it is required. देखो ये एक है डेटा कलेक्शन हमने किया, उसको प्रोसेसिंग किया, फिर आउटपुट हुआ, फिर हमने डेटा स्टोर करके रखा, जब भी हमें जरूरत है तो इंफॉर्मेशन रिट्रीव करके उसको प्रोसेस करके फिर आउटपुट किया। Finally we have come to the conclusion. Who's going to read it?
Now the conclusion. MIS with all its tools and techniques helps management at various levels to take decisions to improve the organization's performances and satisfy customer expectations.
क्योंकि फाइनली इट इज द कस्टमर विच मैटर्स अ लॉट। यदि आप पूरा कर दिए और आपके कस्टमर्स ही सेटिस्फाइड नहीं है तो बेकार है। तो यू हैव टू कीप कस्टमर इन माइंड, जो भी डिजाइन कर रहे हैं, जो भी कर रहे हैं, तो इट इज लिंक्ड। कस्टमर क्या है, एक्सटर्नल है और ये इंटरनल, तो ये दोनों को आपको मैच करके चलना है, एंड MIS हेल्प्स यू इन दैट। So this is all for today. You have any question, you can ask me. Hello. You can ask me. Whatever, if you have any question, you can ask me.
हेलो मैम। मैम मेरा क्वेश्चन जो
हाँ.
है कि अपना सेंट्रल वेट आपने जो बताया कि अपना सेंट्रल डेटाबेस जो है उसके बारे में थोड़ा सा आप ये बताइए ना मैम प्लीज और एक बार।
जैसे सेंट्रल डेटाबेस ऐसा हुआ कि मान लीजिए, जस्ट टेक एन एग्जांपल ऑफ माय यूनिवर्सिटी BHU। इसमें एक डेटाबेस होगा हमारे स्टाफ का, टीचिंग स्टाफ का, दूसरा डेटाबेस होगा जो एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव स्टाफ है, स्टूडेंट्स का। अब हमारा तो इतना बड़ा हॉस्पिटल भी है, तो हॉस्पिटल में भी जो उसमें डिफरेंट डिफरेंट कैटेगरीज है। तो डेटाबेस में क्या होगा कि वो जैसे एक हमें MRD नंबर दे दिया जाता है या एम्प्लॉय नंबर दे दिया जाता है, उस एम्प्लॉय नंबर में हम कुछ भी हैं, एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव स्टाफ है या हॉस्पिटल के स्टाफ है या फैकल्टी में टीचिंग स्टाफ है, उससे हमारे विषय में जो भी स्टोर्ड है, जो भी my date of birth, my date of joining, the number of times I have taken leave, my pay scale, everything is there. So at the click of a mouse you can get the information. जैसे अभी क्या हुआ, जब इलेक्ट्रॉनिक बॉन्ड का हुआ केस, तो इन लोग डेटा दे नहीं रहे थे और कह रहे थे कि मैचिंग करने में बहुत समय होगा, बट ऐसा तो नहीं है। एवरीथिंग इज स्टोर्ड इन डेटाबेस। वो तो एक क्लिक ऑफ माउस यू कैन गेट ऑल द डेटा। और फिर हुआ भी फाइनली, एक दिन में सारा डेटा मिल गया। तो इसीलिए तो इतना इस पर रिसर्च करके बनाया गया है डेटाबेस, और रिडेंसी नहीं होना चाहिए, वही वही चीज 10 जगह नहीं। सेंट्रल डेटाबेस होगा तो उससे क्या होगा, जिसको भी जरूरत है, जिसको भी जरूरत है, इट हैज बीन डिजाइन इन सच ए वे कि जिसको भी जरूरत है उसको एक्सेसिबिलिटी मिल जाती है और वो उस डेटा को देख सकता है और उसके जो भी उसे डिसीजन लेना है उससे कर सकता है। तो दैट इज व्हाई टुडे वी आर फेसिंग we are putting so much emphasis on central database, जो भी organization है, and within the organization also we can see, and somebody from outside also can see if they get the link. Link नहीं मिलेगा तो फिर तो कुछ नहीं हो सकता है। You have to get the link to get the type of information you are looking for. For example, अब यही है. For example, you take a class. Zoom से हो रहा है. So I was given the link. Then only I could start the class. तो लिंक ही नहीं मिलता तो अब कोई भी तो नहीं स्टार्ट कर सकता है ना, because it has a unique meeting ID, पासवर्ड, लिंक है, जो उसको यूज करेगा वही करेगा. तो इसी तरह डेटाबेसेस भी हैं, उनपे भी चेक एंड बैलेंस लगा हुआ है. ये नहीं है कि ओपन टू एवरीवन. सिक्योरिटी का पहले देखना है और यूजफुलनेस भी देखना है कि जिसको जरूरत है उसे मिल भी जाए. एनीथिंग एल्स? हेलो
तो मैम मतलब
केदार.
इन हाँ जी मैम. तो मैम मेरा मतलब ये कंफ्यूजन हो रहा है कि इन दी इंडियन में बैंकिंग सिस्टम, ये जो मीन्स एक्सेस मतलब किसके लिए ज़्यादा यूजफुल है, बैंक के लिए या फिर कस्टमर के लिए?
नहीं, देखो, कस्टमर को वही मिलेगा जो कस्टमर को जरूरत है. और बैंक के ऑफिशियल में भी अलग अलग कैटेगरी का अलग अलग पासवर्ड से उसको चेक एंड बैलेंस रखा जाता है. ये नहीं है कि जो, देखो उसमें भी तो सारे स्केल पर काम कर रहे हैं ना, सबको को सब डेटा थोड़ी अवेलेबल है. आपको भी कभी कभी ऐसा होता है कि आपको डायरेक्ट नहीं मिल सकता है. यू कैन अप्रोच देम एंड दे विल गिव यू द, if they can ask you certain questions, कुछ करके whatever you require, they can give it to you. If they feel you really require, you're a genuine person. वो check and balance है. ऐसा नहीं है कि सब कुछ सबको बड़ा फ्रीली अवेलेबल है.
ओके मैम, क्लियर.
You visit a bank and see how they work.
तो हेलो
हाँ हाँ, बोलो.
मैम, इसका मतलब है कि जो अपना सेंट्रल डेटाबेस रहता है उसके लिए भी अपने कुछ लिमिटेशंस है यूज करने के,
लिमिटेशन
एक्सेस करने के, सॉरी.
एक्सेस करने के लिए किस लेवल पर है, उस हिसाब से आपको उसमें एक्सेस दिया जाएगा. ऐसा नहीं है कि सबका जो भी जिस भी लेवल पर है वो उसको यूज कर सकता है. ऐसा नहीं है. ऐसा है जो कॉमन है, जैसे नाम है या कुछ ऐसा इंफॉर्मेशन है, वो सब लोग के लिए कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है. तो इज देयर, बट देयर आर सर्टेन इंफॉर्मेशन व्हिच इज नॉट, व्हिच शुड नॉट बी seen or used by someone else. तो उस पर लगा दिया गया है.
ओके मैम.
Any other question?
नो मैम, थैंक यू.
Anyone else? तो ठीक है, we end this session. हेलो प्रेरणा, कृष्णा, तुम लोग तो कुछ बोल ही नहीं रही हो. ओके, गुड नाइट.
Thank you, ma'am.
थैंक यू मैम, थैंक यू.
गुड
थैंक यू
नाइट.
सर. गुड नाइट मैम, थैंक यू.